Good morning. This is Greg Herder with Hobbs Herder Advertising, and I'd like to welcome you to my monthly coaching call. The reason that we do these monthly coaching calls is to keep you moving forward so that you really are using everything you learned at the Marketing Mastery Gateway seminar. Because after the seminar, it's so easy to get caught up in real life, all the things going on in your real estate office, and I want to make sure you're moving forward and using the information to really make a difference. I also want to make sure that you don't feel isolated, like you're the only person out there working at building a marketing-driven real estate business and really trying to take your business to the next level. I also want to help you hold yourself accountable so that you are moving forward with the things that you say you want to do. And that's so important. Finally, I want to share some new ideas with you on a regular basis to keep you moving forward as things out there in the marketplace progress. And that's the purpose for these calls. My book of the month this month is a great book, and it's a great book on helping you understand how to use your habits to your own advantage. The book is called The Power of Habit. Why we do what we do in life and business. And this is just a wonderful book. It's got the latest research technology on really mastering your habits. And I will tell you, I think it's a great book. I know I read it once and have already started reading it a second time because there's so much value in figuring out how to use some of the concepts, the elements of this book. So please, as always, every month I recommend one of the books I've read this month. This is one I really think would be useful. I'd love to get your feedback. Send me an email. Let me know what you think about it and what you got out of it. I really do appreciate those of you who take the time to send me feedback. Let me know that you're reading the books I recommend. It really does mean a lot to me, and it keeps me inspired to keep going and finding new books to recommend for you. Today, I want to talk about how you can go from average to fortune. Now, many of you are already doing pretty well, and the reality is that it's not that hard to do pretty well. But how do we go for true fortune? How do we take our real estate careers, our lives to the next level? So I want to talk about how to really go to that top level. And there's 4 simple steps that I found that if you will follow can really take you from average to fortune in every area of your life. And the 4 elements that I really want to talk about this morning are, first of all, you need to get serious. Second, you need to get smart. Third, you need to get going. Finally, you need to get excited. And I want to talk about each one of these and give you some specific ideas on how to make this really work for you. First of all, I want you to get serious. Life is serious. The battle is on between good and evil. Communism, capitalism. Communism says you should put the capital in the hands of the government. We believe that you should put the capital in the hands of the people. The battle is on, though, in every area of your life. Sickness versus health. Sickness is always waiting at the outer edge of your health plan. Just waiting for your health plan to crack a little bit, for you not to exercise, for you not to eat right. Poverty is always at the edge of your wealth plan. Sadness, devastation is always at the edge of your decisions to be happy. So understand this is a push-shove world. It's constantly a push-shove between success and failure, good, bad, however you want to look at it, but understand it requires effort. See, if you don't weed the garden, the weeds will overtake it. So we understand it takes effort, but you've got to get serious about it. So first of all, what do you need to get serious about? The first thing I want you to do is get serious about defining your own philosophy. Philosophy is everything you know and how you feel about it. Now, the more we learn, the more we take in, and the more we think about it and absorb it, the more refined our philosophy is, the better decisions we make. And I want you to understand how important it is to think about your own philosophy, because this determines so many things. Your philosophy about how should you treat people, your philosophy about whether all people are really people. And I want you to really start refining those things. Your philosophy is a test of your own mental scales, of what you've taken in. See, and sometimes people don't refine their philosophy. They just go through life and their scales get off. And now they start making poor decisions, decisions that can cause huge devastation in their lives. See, the guy has a philosophy and he says, gosh, donuts are valuable, books are not valuable. And over the last 10 years, he spends $1,000 on donuts and nothing on books. See, that's a philosophical choice. And yet, the philosophy has a devastating impact. I mean, think about it. You spend $1,000 on donuts, causes you cardiovascular disaster. It's simple little refinements that make such a huge difference. So, make sure you're thinking about your philosophy and refine it. Next, I want you to get serious about defining your vision for your career and your life. At Marketing Mastery, that's why we do the goals exercise. And we ask you, why do you want each one of your goals? If you don't have a clear vision of exactly what it is that you want and why you want it, chances are your goals aren't working for you. I think this is the number one mistake adults make in defining their goals. They go through a goal list and they just come up with stuff without thinking, why do I really want this? What does this mean to me? But without a clarity of purpose, without a vision to drive you forward, you're not going to move forward. So I want you to get serious. Next, I want you to get smart. And there's nothing worse than simply not knowing. I mean, it's so important to get the information, especially when the wisdom of the world is at your fingertips today. There are so many books. There's so much on the internet. There are so many things, so many places, so many seminars to go to, so many sermons to hear. People that have taken their entire lives, condensed it down into a book, and you can learn from it. This is an incredible opportunity, but you've got to get the information. See, if you don't get the information, not knowing won't help. See, you got to know, if you jump out of a second-story window, the fall will probably kill you. Now, if you say, I just didn't know, I didn't know it would kill me, it's not going to help. So you've got to know. Now, here's the key. It starts with searching. The good book says, search and you will find. And I want you to realize this is a magic formula. Unless you're searching, you will not find. Rarely does a good idea interrupt you. So you've got to be searching, looking for the things that can make a difference in your real estate career, in your personal life, in your relationships. You've got to be consistently looking for the things that can make a difference. And I want you to make sure that you're searching every day. Now, as you're searching, there's a couple ways that I want you to make sure you're maximizing your learning, that you can get as much as you possibly can out of your own life and the opportunities around you. And I found there's two ways to learn in life. We can learn from our own experiences, and we can learn from other people's experiences. I call it OPE, other people's experiences. Now, if you're going to learn from your own experience, you've got to evaluate your own life. Look critically at what happened, what worked, what did not work, and why. If you do not evaluate your life on a fairly regular basis, I guarantee you're going to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again. The relationship mistakes, the parenting mistakes, and by the time you finally wake up, you'll say, gosh, it's too late. I mean, Socrates did have it right. He said the unexamined life is not worth living. Today, make sure at least every week you think back about the week. And you say, okay, what worked, what didn't? What can I learn? How can I do things differently? If you will just take a little time and reflect, it will make such a huge difference. If you have a stressful transaction, analyze it, look at it, ask, what can I learn from it? What mistakes did I make? How can I avoid them? What went right? How do I help that happen more often? This is not hard or challenging, but unless you take the time to actually do it, you're going to end up in the same thing over and over again. Trust me on this. One of the best ways to make sure you're capturing, learning from your own experiences, is to use a journal. I will tell you what, journals are so incredibly powerful. I cannot tell you. If you get a hold of one of my personal journals, now my personal journals are not for public consumption, but it wouldn't take you long to say, wow, there's value. Because it's an opportunity to think, reflect. I found that when you take your thoughts, put them into writing, it truly helps you understand things. So keep your journal around, capture the good ideas that come your way, evaluate the problems, then go back and review. This can be such an incredibly great value. I tell you what, if you will keep a journal of your life, it's one of the treasures you can leave behind for your kids. They will treasure your journals more than almost anything else that you can leave them. And you will learn. It will help you grow as you capture the good things that come your way, analyze it, and you will be a better person because of it. Now, I also want you to learn from other people's experiences. Because the biggest problem with your own experience is that our own experiences often take way too long. Think about it. If you wanted to become a doctor today, but you didn't trust the medical training facilities, so you wanted to go and learn everything yourself, and so you went out and you bought a cadaver. And then you took it apart, memorized all the muscles, looked at the skeleton, tried to figure it out all yourself. How long do you think it would take you? See, it would take you forever. See, by learning from other people's experience, we're able to condense time. That's the magic of reading a book. You get decades, years, a lifetime experience in a few words. Now, to be a good reader, to be a good learner from other people's experience, you've got to take it in and then evaluate it for yourself. I want you to also realize that you want to learn from both successes and failures. And this is really important. When you're looking at other people's experience, don't look at the people just have done well. Failures have just as much information to share. The problem is we don't want to pay them. But here's a great suggestion for you. On a fairly regular basis, take a rich person or somebody that's doing something that you really admire, has a great relationship. You see a lady with a mom that's just got a great way with her kids. Take her out to lunch. Say, gosh, you got this incredible way with your kids. What is it? And maybe she'll say, well, gosh, you know, my kids used to be out of control. Used to drive me crazy. Could not get them to do anything. Had temper tantrums. And then I read this little book. It's called Parenting with Love and Logic, or some other book. And she said, it changed my life. I started using a few things. It's got a practical, here's what I started with. Changed my relationship with my kids. Now, it's absolutely fabulous. I have a question. Would that be a valuable lunch? Would that be worth paying a few dollars for to get the inside track on how to be a great parent? Take somebody that's incredibly successful in business, maybe the most successful agent you know in your city. Take them out to lunch and say, hey, how did you do it? I'm amazed at successful people, how open they are, willing to share. But you've got to be willing to ask. Also, learn from the failures. Go to some people that are failing and say, gosh, how did you do it? How did you blow it? You had a beautiful family. You're an intelligent, attractive person, why didn't it work for you? And see if you can figure out how they blew it, the mistakes they made. And this can be incredibly valuable. So learn from both the examples of good and bad and figure out what's the best thing for you to do. Now, I also want you to never mistake the influence of the people around you. One of the things that I've learned is that the people around us have a tremendous impact on our lives. Now, the funny thing is that we seem to understand this as parents. As parents, we want to make sure our kids are hanging out with the right crowd. But now we get into adults and we don't think about it. But the people we hang out with, the friends, our family, our relatives, have a huge impact on us. The people you spend significant time with have a major impact on your life. So here's what I want you to do. Just ask a couple of questions. First, ask, who am I around? And just make a list of the people you're spending time with. And just see how much time you're spending with each one of them. And now ask, what direction are they taking me in? Where have they got me headed? What have they got me reading? What have they got me watching? What have we got me spending time doing? Finally ask, is that okay? And I'm not suggesting that's okay, but you need to ask. And now you may come to the conclusion that first of all, you need some new associations. If you want to go to a higher level, you need to hang with a crowd that will push you, make you better, strive. See, if you're a millionaire, you need to find a few billionaires to hang out with. I want you to realize if you're earning $30,000 a year, hang around with some people making 50, 60, 70. If you're making 50, 60, 70, figure out, gosh, how do I find somebody making 150, 200? Hang out with them, and they will push you, they will pull you along. And maybe you need to have some new associations. Maybe you also spend a little bit of time with some people that have a very positive impact on you. And you need to expand that association. And say, gosh, I've been spending a little bit of time, I see them once a month, but maybe I ought to do that once a week. Maybe I ought to just double the time I spend with them and expand that association. For some people, maybe you've got a drinking buddy you spend some time with on a fairly regular basis, and you say, you know what? It's not the way I want to go. And now you say, you know what? I want to limit that association. I can spend a few hours a month, but not a few hours a week, not a few hours a day. And you just limit that association. This can have a huge impact. And some people, and I know this can be hard, you have to say, you know what? For this person, I've just got to disassociate. I've got to totally eliminate them from my lives. Now, sometimes this is hard, but there are some people, some family members, some people that are just so negative that always bring out the worst in you. You say, you know what? I can't afford that association if I really want to go where I want to in life. This is part of getting smart, of understanding this is how life happens. This is one of the things that it talks about in The Power of Habit. It's so easy to drift because our habits are pulling us in this direction, and unless we take charge, and the good news is we can take charge, we can change any habit, and this is how you do it. It's thinking about what you really want and the end result of where it's taking you. Next, in learning from other people's experience, I want you to get on the habit of reading. Read all the books that can help you accomplish what you want. Unfortunately, so many people say, well, Greg, I want to do well in sales, and they read a couple sales books, they read a couple of marketing books. Well, you got to read them all. One book a week over the next year is 50 books in a year. You read 50 books about anything, and let me tell you, the impact will be significant. That's 500 books over the next decade. That's like getting a PhD. And I want you to realize it's just an hour a day of reading. It'll move you a book a week forward. It'll change your life in so many ways. Now, I'm not talking about reading fluff, mental candy, novels. I'm talking about reading books that will actually push you, make you think. If you want to read books on relationships to improve your relationship, read a few. Not just 3, 4, read 10, 20, and you can't believe what a difference it'll make. Read some books on parenting, on sales, on marketing, whatever you truly want. If you want to be wealthy, study wealth. Read 20, 30 books on wealth. And you'll start to see, gosh, there are certain patterns, there are certain things that show up over and over again in every single book, and suddenly you'll start actually believing it. But if you don't read, it won't help. I will tell you, Jim Rohn sold me on reading. And once I got that habit, it has changed every single aspect of my life. Today, I do read at least one book a week, often two, and it's affected every aspect, from my relationships, my parenting skills, my relationships with coworkers, my ability to communicate. I want you to realize that unless you're mentally growing, you're moving the wrong way. And reading can have a huge impact. Watch 1 hour less of TV each night and read for an hour, and it will change your life. It will truly have a huge impact for you. Start by maybe reading a bunch of biographies about great people, what they did that can inspire you. Whatever you need the most help on, start there. Can you imagine the devastation on somebody's life if they could have read 500 books over the next 10 years and they didn't? I want you to think about it. What's this going to do for your kids? If you read 50 books on parenting, you spend a year saying, I'm going to be the best parent I can be. What will that do for their future? Spend a year dedicated to really improving your relationship with your spouse. Read 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 books on relationships, on communication. I will tell you, it will change everything for you. Next, once you get the information, you've got to get going. And I want you to realize that when you take action, you've got to take massive action. So many people are just trying to take it all in, but you've got to take it in and then put it on the streets. You've got to take action. And I want you to look at it and ask yourself, is your action plan massive? When Robert Schuller decided to start the Crystal Cathedral in Garden Grove, California, he started and he said, well, you know what? I need to knock on a few doors. And he said, I'm going to knock on 35,000 doors. Not 350, not 3,500, 35,000. No wonder it became such an incredible success, because he took massive action. I'm going to think about your plan. Are you taking the action? Now, the good book had a suggestion on work versus labor, or work versus rest. And the plan in the good book was 6 days labor, 1 day rest. Now, I know things have changed, and we've got it down to 5 and 2, but I really want to think about it. Maybe 5 and 2 is okay. But what if you keep taking it down there? What about 4-3? What about 3-4? 1-6? Pretty soon people are going to say, I want everything, don't want to work at all. See, is that the right philosophy? What I found is if you take massive action, put it on the street, work as hard as you can, and then rest, enjoy. It makes such a huge difference. But until you're taking massive action, you aren't utilizing your best. Your activities show your true priorities in life. We don't judge you by what you say you believe. We judge you by what you do. So take a look at your career, look at your activities in the last week, last month, last year, and say, gosh, what did the activity plan that I operated from really demonstrate about me? Now, first thing I want you to do is make sure that you have your activity plan in writing. It's hard to fix a plan in your brain. It's so much easier to work on it in writing. Once you have it down on paper, it's easy to take a look at it and say, okay, we need to make this adjustment. This is a little out of sync. And now, do I have the activity that can really make a difference moving me forward? And then for your activity plan, for everything you're doing, all your marketing activities, your sales activities, understand your ratios. And now let your ratios determine your plan so that you can accomplish your goals. The magic of ratios is this: whatever you start doing, you will get a ratio of results. Let's say you just get started in sales. And now, let's go out, knock on 10 doors, make 10 phone calls. You get no leads, nothing from it. You go do it again, you go do it again, you go do it again. After you do it for a while, guess what? Suddenly you get 1 out of 10. Let's say you're just new getting going and you're so new at this. Just learning, you only have a 1 out of 10 ratio. And you meet somebody in your office that's got a 9 out of 10 ratio. Maybe for every 10 listings appointments you go on, you get 1 listing. They go on 10 listing appointments, they get 9. Now, you can still compete. Because here's the key. While they go get 9 out of 10, you can go get 10 out of 100. If you will make up for activity what you don't have in skill yet, now as you do more of it, your skills will grow, so your ratios will improve. But once a ratio starts, it tends to continue, and it will improve over time as you improve it. So ask yourself, as a real estate professional, what are your ratios for your success? Every time you send out your personal brochure, what's the ratio? If you send out 100, how many calls do you get back? Out of those calls, how many turn into face-to-face meetings? You know, it's amazing. I wrote the 90-day prospecting plan that has agents send out 1,000 brochures a month for the first 90 days. And whether they're brand new, experienced, doesn't matter. It generates at least 10 transactions in 90 days for them. And it's just getting 3,000 brochures out a month. The ratio is, gosh, you get 3,000 brochures out to people that fit in your demographic, and you're going to generate 10 more transactions. Now, the funny thing is, I'm amazed that so many agents say, Greg, I did that 90-day program. It worked really well, generated 12, 14, 15 transactions those first 90 days. Now what do I do? Well, you keep passing it out. Keep saying, how do I get it out there? What's my story? Look at your power cards. Say, what's the ratio? How often do I need to send them out? What's the ratio of results in my farm area? What's the market share that I'm generating? Send out 2 of these a month and study the ratios and watch the returns come in. Start thinking about Facebook advertising. I love this as far as marketing and advertising. Run an ad, offer one of your special reports, and now track the ratios. Say, gosh, I run this ad. It has X number of exposures. I get X numbers of clicks. Out of those clicks, I get X number of people to actually fill out my landing page, ask for my special report. Then I follow up consistently for 3 months, and I get X number of transactions. Figure out the ratios that you are working on in every aspect. How many calls? I want you to think about it. Start doing things, and now you can start building a plan of activity that will take you exactly where you want to go. Daily, I want you to mail out at least 5 of your personal brochures to the expireds. Then go to the download site and follow the expired program. It starts with that simple cover letter that we gave you and your personal brochure and a series of follow-up letters and cards. If you will do that every day, 5 expireds, 5 days a week, within a week or 2, you'll have an extra listing a week flowing in on a regular basis. I found on average, you'll get 1 transaction a week from that if you'll just follow the plan. Then mail your brochure every day to 5 past clients. Just randomly pick them out. Mail it to 5 friends, maybe your sphere of influence, people that you meet. Then mail it to 10 people in your farm. Joanne Barrett, a wonderful realtor that was really struggling, put her brochure together, and she said, Greg, I was so broke, the only thing I could do was pass out my brochure wherever I went. And her goal was to pass out 10 brochures to strangers every day. She'd walk into grocery stores, malls, just start passing out her brochure. And sure enough, her business started to grow, and soon she was well on her way to massive success. I want you to realize that If you will get things out consistently, ask yourself yesterday, how many people found out about you, your story, your success in real estate? See, unless a bunch of people found out about you, your chances, the direction, your future isn't going to make a difference. I want you to be committed to moving forward effectively that way. Let me ask you, if you showed me your written activity plan for the next month, would it totally blow me away? Would it be really impressive to me? Would I say, gosh, your chances for success are going to be massive? If your plan is not a massive activity plan, your chances just go down. All right, so we've talked about getting serious, getting smart, then get going, taking massive action. Finally, I want you to get excited. And I want you to realize that if you will get excited about your future, it can have an absolutely incredible impact for you. Get excited about, first of all, what you can do today and what today's activities will have on your future. I have a question. When could you mail out 5 of your brochures? Could you do it today? When could you call 5 past clients? You can do it today. And get excited about the fact that today you can make a difference in tomorrow, next week, next month. You don't have to wait. You can take action today. Then I want you to get excited about lifestyle. Lifestyle is the art of getting joy from your resources. And the great thing is lifestyle doesn't take a lot of money. It takes a study of refinement. It's how to get joy from what you do have. Let's say you don't have a lot of money, but you go to the beach with your partner. Now, give your lady a rose to carry around. Say, you know what, this rose reminds me of you. Little things can make a huge difference. And the rose is what? $15, $20. And it has a huge impact. It's learning how to get joy from giving your kids money so that you give with excitement, not out of resentment. And I want you to realize that those things can have a huge impact. This can affect your relationships, your joy. Lifestyle is truly an art, but you have to study it. Now, the good news is there's lots of books on having a great lifestyle. You just got to go read them. You've got to take the time to study it to get the lifestyle that you want. I also want you to get excited about what you can do for the people you care about. Get excited about what you can do for yourself, your spouse, your kids, your family, the people that you work with. And if you realize you can have an impact on all their lives because you are growing, you are making a difference, this is incredibly powerful. Jim Rohn always used to say, Greg, if you'd help enough people get what they want, you can get everything you want. So go to your spouse. Say, what is it that you want? What are your dreams? Have that conversation. And it can have a huge impact. I want you to really think about how you can give. The greatest people are the ones that serve the most. And I want you to realize if you get excited about helping the people you care about, serving them incredibly well, you will find great joy and satisfaction in your own life. Don't settle for a small life. You have the potential to live an extraordinary life. Here's what I want you to get excited about. Get excited about your gifts, your talents. If you look at your gifts, your talents, don't be envious. Don't be looking and say, gosh, I wish I had that person's looks. I wish I had that talent. Wish they had. You have your own unique talents that make you unique and special. Get excited about them, and they will make an incredible place for you in this world. You can do the most extraordinary things with what you do have if you will capitalize on them. Tap into the full potential of what you do have, and you cannot believe what you can accomplish. So get excited about the resources, the talents that you do provide. Also remember that happiness is a decision. And that should excite you. You can decide to be happy with no matter what's going on. Even though there's challenges, difficulties, you've got financial pressures, you've got all these things, you can still choose to be happy. Happiness is a choice. And I want you to understand that. It's not an amount. Learn to be happy right now, today, while you work towards what you want. Now, here's the funny thing. We all want a happy life, but how do we get there? We say, well, gosh, as soon as I make this much money, as soon as I have this much, I've set this aside, as soon as my kids are grown, as soon as they're happy, as soon as this is happy. The reality is that you have a happy life by deciding to live every day happily. Even if you're working incredibly hard, be happy about it. You can find happiness doing the things that are difficult. And realize that that's okay. You're happy because you decide. And here's the funny thing. If you go to work with a happy attitude, you live longer, you live healthier, you're more pleasant to be around. But it is your choice. Give up negativity. For those of you that come to the seminar, I tell the story about giving up complaining and how hard it was for me, but what an incredible impact it was on my life. Real fortune is not how much you get. Real fortune is gained by what you become. At the end of your life, it's not how much you have. It's the person you became, the influence you had, the impact you had on others. It's what you gave. And if you will really focus on that, you can live an extraordinary life. It's so easy to go from average to fortune, to have an impact, to make a difference. I also really want to thank you for spending a little time with me here today. And I hope that you will take these ideas and information and go to work at making your life go from average to fortune. I would also love your feedback about this little coaching call. Were these ideas useful and valuable? First of all, I'd love it if you'd go to my Facebook page at facebook.com/Greg Herder and write a comment. Or you can go to facebook.com/Hobbs Herder. I would love for you to subscribe to my personal Facebook page. I'd love to be your friend. Unfortunately, I've reached my 5,000 friend limit, so you have to subscribe, but I'd love to see your comments, your thoughts about this webinar and about all the things that I share on an ongoing basis, the books that I'm recommending, those types of things. What I also want to do right now is open it up to questions, answers about anything that we've talked about here today, problems that you're having. I think of this as a little consulting time to help you move you forward. So if you'd go to the webinar box and type in your questions, I will take questions for the next few minutes and try and answer those. So let's see if there's any questions and we'll go for it. Are there a list of recommended books on your Facebook page? If yes, where? Well, Facebook doesn't have the greatest recommendation. They used to have a great book list. So I have a great recommended book list on my Pinterest account. So if you go to pinterest.com/Greg Herder, I have a variety of different book lists, and they're broken down by subject. So on Pinterest, there's a book list on social media marketing, on personal development, and there's a variety of different book lists there. So go there and check them out. The next question is, wonderful webinar, do you have a book on time management that you would recommend? Yes, and on my Pinterest book, I do have a couple of time management books. The book that I recommend the best for time management is Getting Things Done. It is by far, I think, the best, most practical, usable time management book out there because it helps you always think about what's my next action step. And if we always have our next action step, that will make the biggest difference for us. So let's take a look at next question here. Please talk more about completing our vision page. Well, I will tell you what, completing your vision is so critically important. And I really think you've got to take the time to do the vision. Remember at the seminar at the end, I gave you the formula. And what I said is write a one-page vision of what you want your life to look like 5 years from now. And write it as if it was already a fact. So don't say, I will be earning $200,000 a year. Write it, I am earning $200,000 a year. I am living here. I'm in this relationship. Write it as if it was a reality 5 years from now. Now, write this in a one-page succinct summary. Then take 10 minutes every day and read that page. Cut out 5 or 10 pictures and put them on a page and just look at the pictures and take a few minutes and visualize yourself living that life. So you're writing it in the future as if it was a reality. And I want you to feel that. If you will get that vision, feel it, spend 10, 15 minutes a day reading it, thinking about it. Then open up your journal and write down any ideas that come to you. Action steps. Here's what I can do. The next step to move this forward. Things that you're practicing. This will make absolutely an incredible difference for you. Every day, take 10 or 15 minutes. Visualize yourself. Write notes on what you can do to make progress. Then take action. If you will do that every day for 90 days, the impact it can have on your life is absolutely extraordinary. All right. The next question is, thank you. Sometimes a webinar feels like a confessional, but your advice is so progressive, so go do this and do great, very positive. Well, thank you very much, Heather. I greatly appreciate your feedback. All right. Reading The Power of Habit and really love it. It is a great book. I really think it's one of those things that you should reread a couple of times. Just attended your conference in Denver, and it has me excited about the program and getting started in today's webinar. It mentioned to send your personal brochure to 5 expireds. Are they targeted farm area? Well, if you've got a farm area, if you've defined your niche, try and find 5 expireds within that niche and you'll get the best results. If you don't have a niche yet or you're just getting started, just find 5 expireds, send out your brochure, and it will start having impact for you instantly. But I want you to realize that it's just getting the activity out there, and it will start making a difference for you very quickly. Also, if you were just at seminar, I have got a few people that have written me their vision letter and sent it to me. Make sure you get that to me here in the next couple of days. All right. The next question is, just a comment. During our last call, I asked about being a rookie and hiring an assistant early on. You encouraged me to hire someone a few hours a week to get started. So far, my assistant has helped me so much. That is absolutely great. Holly, I really appreciate that. And the great thing about it is you're taking action, you're moving forward. And that's going to make such a big difference. I know that you're going to continue to do incredibly well going forward. The next question is really a comment. Thank you for the encouragement on the last call. And I greatly appreciate all of you being here and participating every month. I'm always a little frustrated that more people don't show up. I really try and figure out how to make sure that you're moving forward. Your success means so much to me. So please keep me posted on what's going on. Go to HH Calls, sign up for next month's call, and then send me an email today about what you got out of it. Make a post on Facebook. And then as your month is unfolding, stay in touch. I am here to help you grow. I want to make sure that you succeed. My email address is greg.herder@hobbsherder.com. I hope that you will take this information and actually use it. It will make such a huge difference if you will do that. Thank you very much for being here and spending your time today with me. I greatly value it, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And let's succeed together. Thank you, and have a great day.